Hi, it's Callum here from Electric Kicks, and today we're going to be looking at the Aventon Aventure electric bike. The Aventon Aventure has actually been out in the United States for around about a year now, but it only recently made its way to Australia in the last 6 months. When it was launched, it very quickly made its way to the top 10 lists of review websites such as electricbikereport.com, bicycling.com, and all those sorts of sites. And the reason they loved it was because the sheer amount of attention to detail Aventon put into this bike. That, combined with the fact that it represented excellent value for money for a fat tire e-bike, meant that they very quickly fell in love with it. And both the American and the Australian population agreed with that as well. To date, the Aventure is the most powerful Aventon that's ever been made. In the back wheel here, you've got a powerful 750 watt rear hub Bafang motor that has a peak output of 1130 watts. It's powered by a battery, a removable battery with LG cells that sits in the middle of the frame here, a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery that puts out 720 watt hours. This actually gets the Aventure up to a top speed of 45 kilometers an hour. And depending on whether you use the throttle exclusively or whether you use any one of the 5 pedal assist modes, can get you anywhere between 30 kilometers and 80 kilometers on a single charge. The Aventure is powered by a cadence sensor, which detects when the pedals are moving and then activates the motor accordingly. While there is a slight 1 second delay while the motor catches up to the pedals, once it does, it accelerates smoothly and up to the top speed of whichever pedal assist mode you've selected there. In terms of torque, this puts out about 80 Newton meters of torque, which is a little bit above the average. Most e-bikes sit around that 50 Newton meter mark. We've got 30 more than that. When we actually took this out for hill testing around Victoria, we didn't actually come across a single hill that we couldn't get up, for the most part, on the throttle alone. And when we did find one of those hills, we found that even the low range pedal assist modes were able to finish the job for us. Moving on to the fat tires we have here. So we have 26 inch by 4 inch fat tires that are incredibly good at providing grip on loose surfaces. If you're one of those people that likes to spend their summers on the beaches surfing away and their winters up in the Australian mountains such as Mount Buller and Hotham, this will be able to come with you either way and keep you safe, keep you steady. If that's not so much your scene, you prefer the forest trails and the rail trails that snake around the country, you've also got a very comfortable ride there as well. And thanks to the Zoom front forks here and your Tektro 180mm hydraulic disc brakes, you've got control as well. Now Tektro themselves, they're not a brand that has made it particularly big in Australia just yet, but they are a very common brand of brake found in electric bikes in the US. So don't let the fact that you may not have heard them put you off from understanding that they're actually very powerful brakes. In fact, when we were testing this bike, we were able to come to a complete stop in a safe manner from 25 kilometers an hour in just 3.3 meters. That's perfectly adequate for an electric bike and a very good value to have on something that costs as little as this does. When we look at the actual frame itself, this frame was brought to us by a process known as hydroforming. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a type of molding where oil is injected inside of a mold and pushes the metal frame outwards. There's actually a very real advantage to this, and that is why the process allows us to have these very smooth, angled and well-designed frames. This actually is very strong, good at stopping the frame from getting weak points or having to have unnecessary welding as we bolt different parts of the frame together. And what this gives us is a very strong frame, and that couples hand in hand with Aventon's incredibly buttery smooth welds that you can see around here, down the bottom here, and all over the whole frame. The actual frame itself can support up to 180 kilograms of weight. Now, most people aren't going to be pushing up there, but what the Aventure is designed to do is be fitted out with front racks, rear racks, panniers and all sorts of things, so you can load it up with accessories and take it wherever you want to go, which makes this ideal for surfers. In fact, there is actually a surfboard attachment that fits down the side there, but you can also store bags and panniers and camping equipment, sleeping bags, anything like that. It will carry it with you, absolutely no problem at all. When we look at electric bikes, particularly fat tire electric bikes at this price point, generally forced to make some sort of sacrifice. You might find something that you can afford, but you don't get the motor power. You don't get the color LCD screen or the integrated lights. You don't get the included accessories such as these fenders here. And if you do get all that, you don't get the frame quality. You don't get the good build quality that you need. You don't get that stable ride that makes you feel safe and secure while you're riding. What you get with Aventon is a little bit of everything. And the sheer attention to detail means that the Aventon Aventure is more than the sum of all its parts. We've got this color LCD screen that gives you all your riding information, but it also tells you how many trees you've saved by riding instead of driving your car. You've got these rear fenders, metal, not plastic. You've got these integrated front and rear lights here. And you've got good quality parts such as Shimano gears as well. And when you factor all that into the power of the motor and the general versatility of the LG battery, what you get is an incredibly good fat tire electric bike. In fact, if you were to look for something of this quality with all these features for less than $3,000 today, you simply wouldn't find it. And that's why the Aventure is one of the most popular electric bikes in America, and that's why it's rapidly becoming one of the most popular electric bikes in Australia as well. If you'd like to get your hands on one of these, simply head to electrickicks.com.au, click add to cart and complete your purchase today. You'll get free Australian shipping and a 12-month warranty on every purchase. Don't hang around, get them while you still can.